Coding.
Hey everybody, welcome to House 6, our movie podcast about movies. We are going through all the Best Picture winners of all time, and we have made it up to 1948, Hamlet. So guys, do you have a blurb to describe Hamlet? Is Jared
Jared
I
just
do.
died.
I'm not. I'm not gone. The cat was being bad. I had to
the
not
can't
show the audience
discipline the cat?
the abuse.
Yes, I
Uh,
have my three words.
go ahead.
Hamlet, Hamlet, Hamlet.
That's cheating. I was gonna do that, but
Too
I
bad,
thought that's cheating.
but I said it first.
So what is
No,
yours?
you didn't come up with one. Mine is "Good Night, Sweet Prince," and then a little kiss, a little.
Mine is
You're
to
just talking
be.
about your cat.
Mine is to be or not on to be. That is the question.
That's more than
That's like
three
eight
words.
words.
That's a lot of words. All right. So the awards. The 21st Academy Awards were held on March 24th, 1949 at the Academy Award Theater in West Hollywood and hosted by actor Robert Montgomery. The Oscar for Best Costume Design debuted this year, which with a category for both color and black and white films, with Joan of Arc winning and Hamlet winning for each. So Joan of Arc for color and Hamlet for black and white. Joan of Arc set a record for 7 nominations without being nominated for Best Picture. Johnny Belinda set a record for most losses with 11 after being nominated for 12. Humphrey Bogart, his snub for The Treasure of Sierra Madre has been called one of the Academy's greatest misses. Hamlet was the first Best winner from a non-Hollywood studio, and the first time an Oscar winner directed himself for an Oscar win. Hamlet beat out Johnny Belinda, The Treasure of Sierra Madre, The Red Shoes, which I still not have seen The Red Shoes, and The Snake Pit. Best cartoon for the year went to The Little Orphan, another Tom and Jerry short. So that's the one with Nibbles, who likes to eat a lot. Um,
That one won an award.
yeah, man, you don't like Nibbles?
No, he's like the worst character in Tom
I
and
like
Jerry.
I like Nibbles. It's
Mm-mm.
just not a award winning.
Remember the Tom and Jerry fighting game to go way off topic? Um, the movie. So 1948 adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet, produced by Two Cities and directed and starring Best Actor Laurence Olivier, who also created the voice for the Ghost. Olivier was 40 years old as Hamlet, while his mother in the movie was only 29. Peter Cushing plays Osric, and a young Christopher Lee has a part as a guard without any lines, so he's in there. I didn't see him. I
Huh.
didn't catch Peter Cushing though. uh, the film has been praised as the best version of the best film version of the story, but it also was criticized by Shakespeare purists for the cuts that Olivier did. So usually I have notes, but I wasn't really able to get the notes of the movie. So we're gonna do it a little different this time. We're just gonna go through. Starts with this Gong Man. Before we start, we usually talk about the characters and the actors. But this movie is really Laurence Olivier. He's like the whole.
It's like three-fourths of this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when he disappears, it's kind of weird, and you're kind of like, bring him back because I don't really care. But I don't really like Ophelia, the actress who played her. She's like too Hollywood.
I don't like that character. She's kind of like she only has like I think 10 lines, really.
Mm,
Like I mean, she's barely in the play.
yeah, and she gets kind of a soliloquy, and it's kind of weird. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's weird. Um, any other actors stand out to you?
Um, the guy that played Ophelia's father, I forgot his name. I always forget his name.
Yeah, it starts with a P. Post.
Yeah,
I
Post Malone.
Post Malone.
I always forget his name, but yes,
Pos,
Ophelia's
it's on the tip of my tongue. Prosperous or something like that.
Prospero. No, that's not it.
What
One
is
of those.
he's
Yeah,
the
anyway,
chancellor or something like that?
yeah, he's like part of the court there. He's tried to. It's not that he's trying to like set up Hamlet, but he's trying to like
Yeah,
gracefully take away Hamlet's like power. That
Polonius.
way he's not felonious.
Yeah.
Felonious and Ferb.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
There
a
is one character that stood out.
who was
The
that?
random fool guy that's like, remember when he's like bowing and he just keeps bowing and then he falls out the stairs?
That's Peter Cushing. That's
Oh,
Moff Tarkin himself.
well, he stood out there. That's how they figured it out. They're like, that guy is a delight.
That guy is great.
That's
that
the
guy can play Van Helsing.
that's the only part of the movie where I perked up. I was like, oh,
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much Laurence Olivier's show. Um, Pretty much like the play too. It's just pretty much Hamlet. So we get this start where they're hitting this gong, and then we go a little farther in, and
You see the ghost,
there's
sort of.
something rotten going down in Denmark, and that's Hamlet's dad. He's rotting. But we learned that these two guards, so they were like changing shifts, and one of them mentions, "Hey, man, I saw a ghost," and he's like, "What?" So they kind of talk about how they've been seeing this ghost, and they've brought a friend with them, right? They brought Horatio.
can you
They
What?
knew him
imagine?
well.
Can you imagine being a guard and actually seeing a ghost? That'd be so tough.
I
Because you got
guess
because you got to be like, how do I convince them?
no. I don't think anyone believes them. And they don't think anyone will believe him. So they get Horatio because he's like a man of standing, right? He's kind of Hamlet's right hand man. So they're like, hey, dude, we saw a ghost. And we later see the ghost. So they believe it's the ghost of the king Hamlet, the first Hamlet. And they want him to
Not to be
talk.
mistaken with current Hamlet.
Yeah.
Hamlet too, some say.
They want him
Electric
to,
Boogaloo.
they want, Horatio tries to get the ghost to talk, but he won't talk. So they're like, you know what? We got to get Hamlet down here to check it out. And we learned some of what's going on. So this guy's the king, and he was Hamlet's brother, um,
First Hamlet.
the first Hamlet's brother, and
Mm.
Hamlet's cousin, right? I don't know. I kept calling him cousin, but I'm like, that's your uncle, right? So, and he has married his brother's wife. So, not cool, dude, but I guess in medieval times you could do that.
Did that old guy right there remind you of um the professor in Narnia?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, I was
Kind
gonna
of
say the one of the dwarves in the Hobbit movies, but
Yeah.
kind of talked like him too. I was like, is that the same guy somehow?
Somehow he's really young here. Enter Hamlet, so he's just kind of chilling on a chair, too cool for school.
Hamlet did not enter. He laid there.
He always strikes that pose. There's like three
Yeah.
scenes where he does that.
uh, I forget this guy's name, Laronitis or something like that. That's the old guy's son. He's getting permission to go to France because he yearns for France. He was there for the funeral, or it was actually the wedding, as Hamlet puts it. So they sent him off to France. Hamlet's depressed as heck, as you would be.
Moody AF.
And he wants to go to England to study. And but the mom's like, no, don't go. They should have just let him go. A lot of this would be solved by just letting the man go to college.
A lot less whining going on.
So Hamlet, you know, he, he's depressed.
Hamlet would listen to My Chemical Romance if they had music back or rock
Unironically,
back then.
No, right. We get introduced to Ophelia. She's kind of Hamlet's main squeeze.
Ophelia, and that's Tybalt, right? Her brother.
Yeah, it's like Leonid. It starts with an L. Eee,
I'm not gonna lie. I always think of the Gilligan's Island Hamlet when Hamlet comes on. So
Larides.
I don't even remember that.
Hilarities.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
You don't remember that where Killian sings, "I will to be or not to be." We can look it up in a minute. It's probably not copyrighted anymore. It's
So he's the son, as we were saying, of the Chancellor dude, and he kind of warns Ophelia about getting involved with Hamlet. He's not a good guy. You should probably just get with me or something, even though I'm your brother.
then he's like, "Remember, be a borrower nor a lender be.
Yeah, starts
Do
quoting
not
the Bible.
do not forget, stay out of debt.
That
Think
guy's
wise and take good advice from me.
that
Guard that
guy.
old sovereignty."
Hamlet rocking his gold cheese it
He's
Hmm.
golden.
necklace.
So yeah, they're talking to Hamlet, and he's like, "I'm going to." They're talking about the ghost they saw, and Hamlet's like, "A ghost, really?"
Well, I like how we skip around here. Hamlet's depressed here. Hamlet's depressed here. And Hamlet's depressed here.
But they
Being a real
tell
Shinji Ikari in this
I
episode.
know.
Hamlet, "Get in the robot, Hamlet."
The
So they tell Hamlet about the ghost, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I want to."
robot's my dad. I can't get in it.
He's like, "Yeah, man, I want to go see that ghost." They see like a party going on down there, and they look at that party. Um,
And you hear "Oops, oops, 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 oops."
so they meet the guards, and they hear the ghost, and the ghost's like, "I will only talk to Hamlet, so Hamlet's got to ditch these fools."
Oh, is
Uh,
that the part where they're holding him back? He's like, "Let go! I want to
yeah,
see."
and then he goes and talks to the ghost. Is like, "Remember, Hamlet." um,
Probably the coolest scene in the movie, to be honest with you.
you like this one? So
It's pretty cool when you get to see like the skull.
the ghost,
Looks like Skull Knight from Berserk.
I don't normally notice like good shots. There are some good shots in this movie.
Hmm.
so the ghost tells the backstory. Says he was Hamlet the king, and he was sleeping in his garden, and then all of a sudden, a fool of a brother just comes and pours some
With
liquid
no
in his ear.
pants.
He pours some liquid in his ear that like automatically kills him. It takes like 2 seconds.
Remember when Jonah did that to you?
Yeah.
And you screamed so loud?
Um, I was asleep.
So is he.
So
Would you call Jonah a fool of a brother?
at that time, yes. So Hamlet's like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna avenge you. I can't let this go, man. Look at that." So he makes the guys, the bros, makes a pact, and he's like, "You guys can't tell anyone what happened this night, because I got a plan." And he's gonna put his plan into action. This is
That's
like
where he
what
beats Ophelia up.
is yeah, because she's like, "Oh, I still love you," and he's like, "You're a fool."
Become a nun.
Yeah, get
Then
you to a
Get
nunnery.
get thee to a nunnery.
But just funny, someone quoted that today on a podcast I was watching, and I was like, "Hey,
no.
yeah, this happens all the time, man." Um, so they're like, her dad comes up with a plan because he's like, "Hamlet's crazy, man. Everyone knows he's crazy, and he's mad in love with my girl. So we'll get this plan to catch him in the act. We'll hide behind these stinking curtains."
This,
Oh,
this
hey
scene,
there.
this scene, I swear to God, like Hamlet was being such a gaudy bitch. He's just like, all
Read
right,
the
well.
book. I like when he
He's
just
like,
chucks the book.
he's just like, can I talk to you? He's like, I guess.
He's like, the Black Parade just came out. I have to listen to it.
He only knows that one piano note. That's all he knows. Ding,
That one G note. Ding.
ding.
So she's like, "Hey, you gave me these," and he's like, "I didn't give you these," and she's like, "Yeah, you did. Take them back." And he's like, "You're a crazy lady.
Go be a nun.
Yeah, go be a nun. I don't. Well, you should be in love with me. Love stinks.
Oh, and then he kisses her hand. I'm like, why would you like yell at her and then kiss her hand? It's like,
Love
Because
makes
he's He's so emotional, Jared.
Love makes men crazy or something like that.
That's the kind of guy women love. They love that.
And he kind of
It's true.
catches on that they're. I know they love abusive men. They're kind of they kind he kind of catches on that they're people in the curtains, like, waiting for him to do something.
I caught on to that when I was like 5 years old too. I was like, "There's people in the curtains."
And then he slams her. Like it kind of looks like it would hurt because
Looks pretty painful. Needed a stunt actor.
so that didn't work. The king's like, he's not mad in love. He's just crazy. We're gonna have to get him some other way. So we get the famous "to be or not to be" scene, which has a lot of lines you probably remember.
A lot of lines.
Sitting like Ariel right there from the Little Mermaid.
And
He just
then
wants to be part.
Part of your world.
I did like this part where he's reading about the actors. He's like, "Here's what they can do," and Hamlet's like, "I get it.
dude,
They're good actors."
Hamlet gets hyped. This guy gets hyped. He's like, dude, look who's coming. It's the best actors in the world. And Hamlet's like, yes. Look at it. He's like,
Woo!
welcome, masters. He's like, yeah.
Dude, I got so like discombobulated when this happened because I wasn't paying attention fully because I was at work. And then I was like, actors, I thought it went meta for a minute. I thought they
Well,
had
no,
like a
the Felonious gets meta a few times. He'll like address like the audience. He's like, "Hamlet is crazy.
I thought they were talking to like the actors of the movie. I was like, what happened? Is this the end?
So
It's Gilden
Hamlet's,
Cranston Rosenstein all over again."
Hamlet's got an idea, man. These world-class actors have arrived. So he's gonna accuse. What is he? The conscience of the king thing, he says. He's gonna kind of accuse the king of killing his dad through
I
the
shall
play,
accuse.
play within the play.
I did like when the dog barked and he's like, "Oh, you're excited too."
Oh
And
yeah,
He's like, "What's
nice
up?"
to meet you too. Puts this on this weird girl,
That's not a girl.
girl guy. So it's time for the play. The king and queen come in, and I forgot to mention he gets very like touchy with his mom during parts,
Yeah,
making out with
There's a lot of that in
uh,
pretty much all of Hamlet. So
yeah.
her.
And she's like, "Oh," and you're like, "This is weird. I don't
Yeah.
like this."
Um, but he's got to make a scene with Ophelia, so he's like, "Can I sit?" He
can I
throws some
sit on?
innuendo down.
Oh
Can
yeah,
I sit on your lap?
And she's like, "Oh my!" Um,
Yes.
so he kind of leans there, and they put on this play, and it echoes exactly what happened to his dad, where the guy pours some stuff in his ear, and the king has like the king goes nuts. Let's see, if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it, but the king goes nuts because I like the part where he like puts the torch to his face, and he's like, ah. The king's like, I need light. So everyone goes nuts, and they all run out, and the old guy tells Hamlet that he's gotta go see his mom because mom's upset. So there's a kind of a lengthy part conversation between him and his mom, and he tells her she was wrong for what she did. She's kind of remorseful for what she did, and he kind of
yeah.
forgives her.
Whenever Hamlet figures something out or is told information that he doesn't think others know or whatever, the way he comes into rooms, he's like, "So you married the dad's brother?" And he's just like he's real jerk in this part.
The whole time, the old chancellor guy's behind the curtain. These curtains get people killed, man. Um, and he like stabs it because he hears something. He's like, "A rat!" And he like stabs him. He's like, "Oops, I killed the old guy." So the mom, she had some okay acting at this part. There's also a part where they think they see the
I followed and can't get off.
life alert.
There he goes out the portal.
Yeah, so he sees a vision of his dad. She doesn't see it. Meanwhile,
Look at
Oh,
him.
hold
Look.
up. You forgot to back up, back up, back up, back up. Bit more. Bit more, bit more. Where'd he kill the guy? He's supposed to kill a guy here.
he already killed the
We
guy.
looked at us a while back. Right
He
there.
stabbed the curtain. For some reason, I can't see the guy.
He killed, yeah, he killed Felonius. There he is.
No,
Well, sort of.
I don't think they
That's
should.
as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he killed Felonius in this part.
yeah, he killed him behind the curtain.
He's one of those
So,
curtain people he's talking about.
so finally, the king has had enough, and he's like, I gotta send this guy to England.
I did like this part though. He's like, "Where's Felonius?" He's like, "Oh no, in heaven. Go check. If he's not there, go check the other place yourself." It's like, okay then.
Hamlet is banished to England, and Ophelia goes nuts. She's just crazy.
He's not ready to be a nun, Joseph. He's young.
She's young. Uh, look, Horatio's there. They get letters, and that's where Tarkin comes in. He's got a letter, like a letter. And
Where's the rebel base?
letters from Hamlet. Billy going nuts.
They're like, where are the letters from? And he's like, Dantooine. He's like, no, that's too remote.
Philly gets into the river, sings a song, dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot she like just drowned.
Uh,
Yep.
meanwhile, Hamlet was like a pirate.
Is this the first movie we had with like narration? There's a lot of narration going on. Because she does it.
Inner dialogue.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, no, at that part it's not inner dialogue. Wasn't it a different actress than her?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was. Wasn't there some in How Green Was My Valley? Didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What you doing in that hole?
Hamlet comes back from
Fixing a divot?
and him and Horatio are there, and they talk to this gravedigger, and they're like, "Hey, whose skull was that?" And then this is the famous poor Yorick. I knew him
I knew him
well.
well.
He was the jester, and he used to give me piggyback rides. He was a fun guy.
I don't think the Chester should be doing that.
Now he's dead. He died of the plague or something like that.
I wouldn't be holding that skull.
And then Leonidas comes back from where France, I guess, where he was, and he learns
France.
about both his dad and his sister's death, and he wants vengeance. And Hamlet is like, "All right, I'm your Huckleberry."
And he's like, what is that? And he's like, don't worry about it.
You'll find out in the 90s.
You won't like it, but your kids are gonna love it.
So the king and him kind of make a deal or a plan, right? Because
The king and I.
the king and I, he's gonna duel. There's gonna be a duel, and at one point he's like, "Hey, I'll dip my sword in some poison," and the king's like, "That's not enough. We'll also poison the water." And
Well, you know what else? So I'm gonna poison everything.
and they're like, "That's a great plan." Uh, Horatio and Hamlet talk to Peter Flint, or why did I already forget his name? Moff Tarkin.
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. There you go. I don't know why I want to say Fleming. Uh, so they talk to him. He's kind of like gives them the rules and talk about rapiers and stuff like that. And then it's time for the duel. So it's
Not a bad duel.
Hamlet. What?
Not a bad duel.
Not a bad
That's pretty
duel.
cool.
I think I have seen a version better of this duel, but
The Mel Gibson one's pretty good.
Impossible.
so they duel it out. Horatio in his corner and the king in that guy's corner. And Hamlet's like really good at dueling, and the guy realizes, oh, dude, I'm not gonna beat this guy. He's too tough. So he gotta cheat, and he cuts Hamlet's shirt during a break. And Hamlet kind of figures it out. He's a smart guy. He's like, I'm dead. I've got one part during remember the poison drink guys. The queen kind of figured out that it was poison, so she's like, "I'm gonna take one for Hamlet," and she drinks the drink, so she's dying. Um, where is he?
Getting sweaty.
Getting sweaty. I can't find him, but oh, there he is. So this guy, he knows he's dying because he got slashed in the wrist with the poison, and he tells Hamlet all the plan. And he's like, the king.
Well, this was pretty cool. So like Hamlet disarmed him, and then Hamlet basically gives him Hamlet's sword, and he picks up the poison blade and then nicks him with it, so he gets poisoned too.
Yeah, and he's like, my own plan against me, or something like that. Um,
My hubris.
so we got him poisoned, we got the queen poisoned, and then it's time for the king. So Hamlet, he's like, he jumps at the dude. He's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
it's like
There can be only one.
it's like Simba and Mufasa or Scar. So and then he
Not
does.
not really. Simba goes up when
I
he's
know
attacking Scar. That's not the
True.
same.
it's they just reversed it, Jared.
The analogy is drying up here.
Everyone's
Reverse
dead.
shot.
Hamlet, he did the deed that he would sought out to do, and he's going to take his final rest by Horatio.
He's gonna pose one more time in the chair though.
Yeah, and that's the end of
He's
our.
like, the Black Parade was good, but goodbye, sweet prince.
All right, wait, go back to YouTube. We gotta look up Gilligan's Island.
There's gonna be like ads and stuff. People are gonna get
It's like a
mad.
minute.
I know. Let's do this. We'll just go super fast, like
Gilligan. Hamlet song. That's it right there.
Hamlet's song.
And go down.
I've never seen this in my life.
That one. Yep.
Which
Yep.
one?
So 103. Yep, that's it.
Jared has never seen this in life.
I remember watching Gilligan too. I don't.
I know
This
I
was
watched
on
which one.
this was on Space Ghost Coast to Coast when he interviewed Bob Denver.
Let me see if I can share the sound. I gotta
Dennis
stop
Wu,
share.
thank you
Dennis
for
Wu.
thank you for
Shout out to
recording
you.
this for us.
All right, here we go.
More
Hopefully,
like Dennis Wu who, because I'm happy.
I ask to be or not to be. A rogue or peasant slave is what you see. A boy who loves his mother's knee. And so I ask to be or not to be. So hear my plea.
Oh Lord.
Say you see a little hope for me. To fight or flee, to fight or flee. I ask myself to be or not to be.
He asked to be or not
Of course.
to be. A rogue and peasant slave is what you see. My son who loves his mother's knee. And so he asked to be or not to be. Hear his plea. We beg
There you go.
thee.
I think I remember that now.
No, this is a AI deepfake. Thomas made that.
Tell me real fast.
I
And
am
posted
Dennis
as Dennis
Wu.
Wu.
All right, so Hamlet, 1948 Hamlet. What did you guys think? Jared, start with you.
Besides Grand Moff Tarkin and a couple of really cool shots in the sword fight,
Mm-hmm.
didn't
No.
didn't really. I don't like a lot of Shakespeare stuff. There's some that I really like, and then there's others where I'm like, God, just end. And this is one of
Just
them.
kill him.
This is one of them where I'm just like, man, I don't care. Just continue. Um, so this movie wasn't too great, and it was a little. It wasn't overacting because I mean they're like trained actors, but I was just like, God, dude, just calm down a little. Just little subtlety with the with Hamlet because he was so extra, and all I could think of is like a teenager And I was like, for a minute, I was like, how old was this guy supposed to be? Because I didn't remember from like the play
Like
or whatever.
19, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a bad case of like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, where like the high school is all like 30-year-olds?
30-year-old.
But yeah, it's just we've been having some good ones, and this one kind of was not the greatest to me, but there's some cool stuff in it.
In the 40s. All right, Thomas, agree to or disagree?
I mean, I enjoy Shakespeare. I like Shakespeare a lot. Um, Hamlet's not one of my favorites. It's kind of like with Romeo and Juliet. I think it's kind of overhyped. Uh, Especially like the amount of monologues that Hamlet has. I'm just like, good Lord, this is a lot. Um, I know this is kind of like a Laurence Olivier passion project because I think it's like this is his favorite role to do on like in the Royal Shakespeare Company. So, um, not a huge Laurence Olivier fan because like his Henry V one is not one of my favorites. I like Kenneth Branagh's Henry V a lot better. Um, but I mean, there's some cool like parts in this. Like they really leaned into like more of the horror in this. Like the Skull Knight part was awesome. I think that was pretty cool. Even like the design of the castles, like it doesn't seem like a pleasant place to live. So, um, so there's like a really cool tone in this movie, but the story itself is like not one of my favorites. Um, Also, there's a much better version. It's called The Northman. Yes, Jared, I know the
No.
Lion King, man.
I just
But
didn't enjoy it. I didn't
Dude,
care
Hamlet's
about it.
way better than the Northman.
shut your face hole, Joseph.
Hamlet had a plan. That guy was just like,
Shut
oh,
up.
poison
Shut your
his
mouth.
dog. That'll get him.
Shut your mouth. Um, but no, I mean, I still enjoyed it. Like I love old movies and I do enjoy Shakespeare. It's just Hamlet's just not one of my favorite ones. Um, I mean, if this was like Henry V, I'd be like, yeah, heck yeah. Or was it Richard III? I like that one too. Now it's Winter of our Discontent. Um, but yeah, it's still kind of cool though. Not the first Shakespeare to be nominated for Best Picture, and it won't be the last. So, um,
Won't be the last. Okay.
well, I mean, we just had like a recent one. Well, not recent, but
Macbeth.
yeah, Macbeth, which is in a black and white kind of gothic set style. I mean,
Yeah, it was cool.
looking back on that, they definitely took some cues from this movie. So,
Mhm. Well, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I like Hamlet as a character, so I like Olivier chewing up the scene and stuff like that.
Joseph, I knew you're a moody bitch.
So, Hamlet for a Shakespeare, it's a pretty simple story. So is Romeo and Juliet, I guess. Those are two kind of very straightforward stories. There's not much depth to them. But I like I said, I didn't like Ophelia. Everyone else's acting was fine. I guess they were all British actors. I think she wasn't though, right? If I'm remembering, um, she'll be in another movie with him. I can't remember what it was, but pretty soon. Um, yeah, it was simple. I don't know if this could win an Oscar against some of the other movies, because I heard The Red Shoes is really good. Um, and The Treasure of Sierra Madre is some of people's favorite movie of all time. So this one might have been an upset. I don't know. I'll have to compare the movies someday. But it was fine for me. I like the story and I like the spookiness. Like
I've
you
got a
guys.
I've got a weird copy of the Red Shoes. Like it's Criterion Collection, but it's like in Chinese. I'm just like,
I wonder why.
how?
So we're almost done with the 40s, guys. That was our second to the last one. The last one, I can find my notes. I always close my notes so fast before
Why? Why do you do that? You do it every time.
every time. So our next is 1949, All the King's Men. So
The first one that won Best Picture.
So we'll check that out next time, and then we'll be in the 50s, Jared.
And then the 60s. And
Yeah, one
then
more
the
decade, Jared. One more
70s.
decade until you start liking them.
I can't wait for the 70s. It's going to be awesome.
Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time.